harryt.crystalcommerce.com for all of your Magic the Gathering and gaming needs.
Yeah, so we have...
So our current matchup is Paolo Bueno versus Edgar Magales. So, both players are shuffling up, and our current deck matchups at the moment are Esper Control versus Esper Control. This is going to be a long one, isn't it?
I guess it's just a matter of who gets the ball rolling first.
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a bit of overlap.
Negates, absorbs.
Yeah.
The usual control fare.
Yeah, Moment of Craving, Chemist's Insight, and of course, our big boy Teferi is going to be here today. He's on both sides of the table, as a Time Wizard would be.
Yep, 4 of them each.
Yeah, our players are just shuffling up, and Paolo has drawn his opening hand. Looks like we've got a Hallowed Fountain and an Isolated Chapel.
Yep, and...
The game has started. Okay, Hallowed Fountain right out the gate.
From
Watery Grave.
I wonder what will happen when they both realize what they're up against.
Watery Grave into Thought Erasure.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder who's having a bit of a chuckle about that right now. Yeah, I'm fairly certain he's going to take that Teferi.
Yeah, Cry the Carnarium and Kaya's Wrath are kind of dead in this matchup, particularly because creatures pre-board aren't really that much of a thing. I mean, oh no, he goes for the Absorb. Okay, because just to put it out there, like, I mean, it's very strong to build against creatures because creatures are just so heavy in the format, particularly with the Drakes we saw flying around earlier, but...
Yeah, a lot of Drakes.
Real big Drakes.
Really big Drakes.
Lots of big Drakes.
Yeah.
But, yeah. At the moment, it looks like we've got mirror versions of the board going on here.
Yeah.
Both sides playing the exact same assortment of lands in the first 3 turns.
Yeah. That's kind of a mix-up there. Let's see what Bueno drops. Oh,
Godless Shrine.
Yeah.
Yeah, these mana bases are very solidly built. I mean, pretty much availability for everything is on the table now.
Yeah.
Here comes the Drowned Catacomb. Passes the turn.
I guess it's just a matter of...
And he cracks Memorial to Glory. Is it Glory?
Yeah, just get some...
The White Memorial.
Star Wars tokens. And he drops his own Godless Shrine, so...
I mean, that's hardly surprising.
Yeah. One of the tokens is dead. It's, end step.
Oh yeah, that Moment of Craving really came in clutch.
Yeah, so... Seems like Edgar has just that slight bit of a lead right now. Both sides seem to be pretty much trying to stockpile. Oh, he tried to get a Thought Erasure in, couldn't do it.
And the spell gets eaten, absorbed.
Yeah, so that actually puts Edgar ahead by 6 now.
Yeah, and here comes Teferi, right into the second absorb. Ooh.
Yeah, this is kind of the tricky part right now is...
Well, I mean, with the inevitability coming down... Oh yeah, Teferi is here on a tap out.
But, I mean...
And he hits for 1. Okay, Teferi gets the card draw and the minus... and the untap 2 lands trigger.
I think Bueno wasn't really looking to see 2 absorbs.
Or he was fishing them.
Yeah, I mean...
Sometimes you just got to play through that screen of counter spells. Otherwise, you're just not gonna get there. Let's see, Chemist's Insight.
Yep. And he gets Sizz on tap.
All right, we got Time Lord versus Time Lord.
Fortunately, Bueno is up against a token. So,
Yeah, Teferi is ahead on Edgar's side here.
yeah, that's...
Let's see what we get for
They're all...
another Thought Erasure coming down.
Yeah.
And how is Paolo going to respond to this? Okay, so he just...
Lets it through?
yeah.
Yeah, so, well, this is kind of a tricky choice right now, because the, the Kaya's Wrath kid couldn't answer the token.
It could deal with the token.
Yeah.
It seems like a very heavy-handed answer to deal with a single token on the battlefield.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it looks like...
Edgar's answer to a Teferi was to Teferi it.
yeah.
So, this is so far kind of an interesting matchup. It's a little bit grindy, as expected from a Esper control deck.
Incrementally, though, Edgar is building up a huge amount of momentum here.
Yeah, he's...
Cry of the Carnarium deals with the token.
Yeah. So far, that's... Edgar will be put ahead a bit. It's kind of tricky to say, though, because he had to -3 Teferi to deal with the Teferi, so...
Starts Chemist's Insight and gets ready for the untap. So he's got the card advantage at the moment.
Yeah.
And
It looks like he...
Paolo is sitting on Absorb and Kaya's Wrath, only one of which is going to be effective in the current matchup. And here comes the next Thought Erasure.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a head scratcher. This is just removing every single option Paolo has. He goes straight for the Absorb.
Yeah.
Eats the 3 life, probably just looking to maximize what little advantage he can gain from his options.
Yeah. Thing is, though, is that with all the card advantage, Edgar seems to have drawn a lot of lands as well, so he doesn't necessarily have a lot, but that probably does make Paulo second guess himself when it comes to card play choices.
I don't know if he's second guessing himself. I think it's more that he's trying to get a read on his opponent. With Teferi just providing additional draws every turn, it's just...
Was that another Teferi he just drew off the top? Oh, he has at least one in his hand, so...
Yeah. No, I would say that Edgar definitely has, like, a winning state in his hand right now. Like, his inevitability is just too strong at this point, and Paolo's not drawing enough answers. The rate at which he's drawing isn't going to be able to keep up.
Yeah.
Moment of Craving. Yeah. See, he's discarding down to 7 now, so...
Yeah.
Oh, this is brutal to watch.
It could have been worse, to be honest. I mean, it just happened that Edgar was able to get that card advantage early game,
Yeah.
which benefited him a lot. Those Chemist's Insights seem to have really tilted the scales.
Well, I mean, the double absorb also kind of helped.
Yeah, I mean...
This is, I don't know, man. This is pretty rough. It's like a 90-10 right now on Edgar's side.
Yeah, but it's kind of a tricky thing to read. I don't know what Paulo's thinking sometimes with some of his play choices.
Other than the fact that he has none?
Yeah, he had play choices. He absorbed the...
Okay, we've got Search for Azcanta on the battlefield.
Well,
And Mortify comes down to answer it.
yeah, that was... I guess Paulo was sort of expecting this sort of matchup. And he nearly taps out for Teferi. And returns the Teferi.
Yeah.
Looks like Edgar's Edge kind of just...
Okay, Vraska's Contempt removes that Teferi.
Yeah, so it's... This Teferi fight is fun to watch. It's a lot of back and forth. And he dropped the one Teferi in his hand.
Actually, I think that was one of 2.
Yep. Plays land untapped.
I mean, if we're talking like hard to ferry advantage here, I would say that Edgar's definitely got it at the moment. It looks like Paolo's just kind of fighting his way out.
Well, Paolo has his own Teferi in his hand. Problem is that Paolo has just that slight less of a land advantage. That was sort of the benefit of Edgar's chemist insights, was that he was able to really...
I mean, overall, I would say it's just generally card advantage at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've got 3 cards on one side and a full clutch of 7 on the other, it's just, yeah. Paolo saw the writing on the wall and scooped. I mean, it was completely hopeless. It was just, there was so much inevitability by the end there.
You keep saying inevitable.
That's
Inevitable.
Please stop. Please do it. Do it. Stop. All right, so we are now heading into game 2. Our featured matchup is between Paolo Bueno and Edgar Megales. As per control mirror match. Both sides I think are just throwing out their creature removal, but maybe adding some creatures. I see we've got some duress coming in from the board.
Awesome. Yeah, the duresses would probably be a big help on either side. I wonder if, interestingly enough, Edgar is running only 3 negates main board, so he might be pulling in that extra one.
Actually, it's 2.
Oh, 2 negates, wow.
Yeah, he's got a 3rd in the sideboard.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of surprising. The 3rd.
I mean, that seems like a pretty good mix of like creature removal and
Non-creature.
and permission spells.
Yeah.
Esper Control is one of the stronger decks in the format.
Yeah, it's surprising to see because we get to look at player choices in a lot of ways. Each player has roughly the same kind of build, but the varieties are based off of the player choice, and then how the situation, game state is changed is also based off of the player's choice. So, kind of gives us a bit of insight on both ends. Sort of see where those differences lie and who can benefit from the way they play. So,
all right, it's shuffling up for round 2.
Yep, they're getting their hands. Edgar seems to be in a pretty okay position.
Yeah, we've got Thought Erasures and Search for Azcanta, and he just immediately, Paolo immediately mulls.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Also, one thing I think helped decide the last game was Thought Erasure coming down as quickly and as frequently as it did.
Yeah, well, I mean, both sides are running at least 3. Edgar's running 4.
Yeah, and they were pretty clutch because they just removed all ability to interact.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably why they're also pushing their duresses. That balance there, though, with Edgar running 4 and Paolo only running 3 of the Thought Erasures, Edgar seems to be only running 2 duresses in his sideboard compared to Paolo running 3. So they might kind of balance each other out.
Yeah, I mean, We'll see where it goes from there. All right, so we've got turn 1, Hallowed Fountain, Watery Grave. Pretty standard starts. And here we go, turn 2, Duress.
Yep. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Oof.
Absorb, Negate, Vraska's Contempt.
Yeah.
4 lands. It's an interesting keep.
And not particularly. I mean, if you can draw on... If you can maintain the card advantage, having a lot of lands is very good to have, like, very good at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it's just... He didn't have... He has answers. Very obviously has answers. But he doesn't have the card draw in his opening, so I guess it's just a matter of weight. Oh,
Yeah.
you took the Vraska's Contempt.
Yeah, because that would be the most direct answer to Paolo's Teferi.
Yeah.
That didn't come from...
And Thought Erasure.
Okay, so we've got Thief of Sanity, Mortify, and Teferi, along with a Glacial Fortress.
Yeah.
So Paolo's, yeah. Goodbye, Thief of Sanity.
Yep.
It looks like this game is shaping up to be pretty interesting. And we surveil the Glacial Fortress into the graveyard.
Glacial Fortress on Paolo's side.
Okay, and here comes the Isolated Chapel.
And passes the turn.
Of course.
A lot of turn passing.
Yeah.
It's the thing about responsive decks, you don't necessarily play a lot.
Yeah, well, the referred to as draw go for a reason.
Yeah. Oh, wow. There's a...
Double Mortify, yeah.
Yeah, double Mortify and a Teferi. I guess we're just waiting to see. The Absorb. Yeah, there's... Paolo has a...
Both players are being very patient at this point. Just gradually building up resources in the hopes that one of them can gain the upper hand. I think Paolo's just saving up so that he can play Teferi with enough mana up to respond to whatever comes his way.
It's a given. I mean, you know you're up against pretty much the same deck. You know they're going to have answers. You better have answers yourself.
I'm just wondering whether or not we're going to see another double Absorb in this particular game.
Yeah, I mean, Edgar's running 4 of them.
Oh,
Both
yeah,
are running 4.
Any Esper control would be running 4 of them.
So, let's see. Paolo has...
Shout out to our viewers on Twitch. We hope you are enjoying these matchups as you... Ooh, Duress! As you see them. Yeah, this is round 4 of 9 at the Harry Tarantula Challenge Series Star City Games Invitational Qualifier, February 16th, 2019.
This is one of those things where if Paolo has to make a choice, but depending on his choice, it forces Edgar to make a choice. Paolo has...
Okay, so he meets it with Absorb.
Yeah. So, gives him what, 1 life?
3.
3? Sets him ahead. Oh! And
Thought Erasure to follow up immediately.
yeah. Wow.
And Contempt to Mortify and a Teferi.
Yep. So, yeah, chooses a Teferi expectedly. I guess if you have answers to Contempt.
Here comes another Absorb.
Yep. And I think...
And here's the third Absorb.
Wow.
Gotta love that invasion art.
Yeah.
And what do we have here? Godless Shrine, paying the 2 life.
That extra advantage. And
Here comes Teferi. How will Teferi be met?
wow, that's... Edgar hasn't really missed a land drop.
Nope.
Expectedly an Absorb.
Yeah. How will that be answered? Negate.
Does he?
Does he go for the second?
And
He is going to go for the second. Oh, double Absorb. Followed by an Absorb.
wow.
Oh, man. Counter wars going on. This is real. Yeah, okay. So That chain of counterspells has resolved, and Teferi enters the battlefield to immediately get killed by Vraska's Contempt. Okay.
Well, there you go. And both players are looking at fairly empty hands now.
Yeah. And Paolo untaps after that tense exchange of cards.
Yep. And passes the turn.
Yep.
Wow.
As one does.
Thought
Here
Erasure.
comes yet another Thought Erasure. Mortify goes to the graveyard.
Surveils at a Hollowed Fountain. Edgar has that one extra card in hand.
Throws down Watery Grave. And
Edgar stacking his hand still. Oof.
here comes the Hallowed Fountain.
Thought
Thought
Erasure.
Erasure, yep.
Not surprised by that.
Oh, that's harsh. Thought
Yep.
Erasure has taken care of Vraska's Contempt, allowing Edgar to play Teferi into an open field where the inevitability begins. And he drops Search for Azcanta immediately with all the extra leeway, and then he goes to his end step.
Mortify.
Could this game end up getting decided at 23 life?
Possibly. I mean... Yep, absorbs. It looks like...
Yeah. Left with only Glacial Fortress in hand, I guess Paolo has some decisions he needs to make. And he concedes.
Not surprised by that.
Yep.
Surprisingly slow, but surprisingly quick. We finished off with 28 minutes to spare in the round.
Yeah.
I guess...
I mean, it was a pretty straightforward match. Like, it's
Yeah.
both players jockeying for position. Whoever the ferry first and makes it stick usually wins.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Hero
I mean,
of Dominaria is the new Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, it was just kind of surprising to see control decks actually finish so quickly. I guess when you reach a certain point, it just kind of becomes
It's almost as if his victory was...
inevitable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean...
But, yeah. So that was round 4. Edgar Megales versus Paolo Bueno. Esper Control matchup. Mirror match. And you are currently watching the Harry Tarantula Challenge Series for the StarCityGames.com Invitational Qualifier for February 16th, 2019. You can visit the website at harryt.com and the web store at harryt.crystalcommerce.com for all of your Magic the Gathering and gaming needs. Yeah, so with another 26 minutes left in the round, it'll probably be a bit before we get our matchups posted for round 5. But yeah, that was pretty tense. That was a couple of enjoyable moments there, especially with that chain of counter spells.
Yeah, the absorb, negate, absorb.
Yeah.
It was it's something to be expected with the mirror match on some level. I think Paulo had because his build has just those slight variations that I think probably didn't work in his favor. That's
Yeah, just getting hammered really hard by repeat thought erasures. Just it wasn't a good time for him.
yeah. That's they're the thing is like where Edgar really seemed to really take off was with the Chemister's Insight. He's running 4 of them in his deck. Paulo's only running 2.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of end step advantage to go on.
Yeah.
Chemister's Insight is actually really strong, given the ability to jumpstart at the end of the opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely this format's version of Glimmer of Genius, which was also a really strong draw card.
I mean, one of the especially in a Teferi deck, it's that little extra benefit of of having those lands untapped, because you don't necessarily need, if you don't use those lands for any sort of counter spells during the opponent's turn, you have the mana to jumpstart the Chemist's Insight. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of confused as to maybe Paulo is kind of trying to balance out against more aggro heavy, because what's the CMC on Chemist's? 4. Yeah, it's a bit costlier, but it's...
I mean, it's about average for the bracket for end step draw, especially end step draw 2.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, it's expensive in... 4 is just kind of an expensive card.
I suppose, but in a matchup where you're expected to be running no fewer than, like, what, 26 lands? 27?
Yeah, the thing is, though, is that when you're up against aggro control kind of things, you're spending 4 mana on card draw when you can be using that to answer drakes and whatnot. I guess that sort of changes how Paulo decided to build his deck. It looks like he tried to balance it more against aggro.
Yeah, definitely one was a stronger anti-aggro build, which did not really help in the current matchup.
Yeah.
But I would also say that in the event that an opponent doesn't land a threat, Insight is just a good option to play at end of turn anyway.
Yeah, no,